This is the Brewers POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Brewers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Cardiac Crew at it once again this evening. A 9-8 walk-off win for our Brew Crew. Isaac Collins playing hero once again this evening with a sacrifice fly to right field, and the Brewers hold on for their 83rd win of the season. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Brewers postcast. My name is Brandon Snide. You can follow me on X, formerly Twitter, at Brandon_Snide, and you can follow all my work over at WTMJ.com, where we cover all of our Wisconsin sports teams. As always, thank you for making Locked On Brewers part of your day. Remember, we are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get the Locked On Brewers podcast as well, and the Locked On Brewers postcast, which you're listening to right now. Also over on YouTube, go to that search bar, type in Locked On Brewers, hit that subscribe button for me, hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up, get notified when we go live after we talk about a Brewers win this evening, a 9-8, very much a roller coaster finish tonight for our Brew Crew, securing win number 83rd in a row. We'll talk about Jacob Misiorowski this evening, and I thought there were some good things from Miz, so we'll dive into that. Again, the Brewers putting up a crooked number in the third inning, eerily similar to what we saw last night as well. They do it once again in the third inning, and as we have mentioned at the top of the show, Isaac Collins sending home the Brewers with their second straight win. A deep fly out to right field would score Brandon Lockridge from third, and the Brewers walking it off and getting the win. Boy, it has not been easy for this team over the last week or so, but they do find a way to get it done. 17 runs were scored in this one, so we are briefly going to go through the scoring summary tonight, once again brought to you by our wonderful partners over at 5 Hour Energy and FanDuel. And the Brewers picking things up right away in the first inning. A couple of hits get guys in scoring position. William Contreras scoring on an Andrew Vaughn sacrifice fly. The Brewers would take a 1-0 lead. Nothing for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first, second, or third. In the bottom of the third inning, once again, the Brewers putting up 5 runs in the third inning for the second consecutive evening. A William Contreras 2-run shot. A Anthony Siegler double would score Isaac Collins. Blake Perkins with a single to right field. That would score Siegler from second. The Brewers cruising at this point. We thought they were cruising for a maybe an easy win this evening. That put them up 6-0 going into the fourth. A Marino home run to center field would give a 3-run home run would give the Arizona Diamondbacks a 6-3 trailing the Brew Crew going into the sixth. And then Bryce Terrain, at this point for Bryce Terrain in the sixth inning, a 2-run home run to right center, a no-doubter, 403 feet to be exact. And Bryce Terrain, don't look now, 9 home runs in the month of August for Bryce Terrain. That's the most in the National League Central Division. Not in the National League, period. Not in the National League. So Bryce Terrain continues to get it done at the plate. At that point, with that 2-run home run, that gave the Brewers an 8-3 advantage. And again, they were up 6-0. Okay, the Diamondbacks score 3. Okay, not bad. But then you get a 5-run advantage there, an 8-3, and you're thinking, okay, maybe we can give this bullpen a little bit of a break. Maybe we can get them going in the right direction and kind of cruise and put this thing in cruise control and stop having to battle out these wins. That was, however, not the case. The Arizona Diamondbacks plating a handful of runs in the 7th inning as well. So kind of doing what the Brewers have done all year long to teams. The Diamondbacks putting up 3 runs in the 7th and 2 runs in the 8th inning did the Diamondbacks. And that's going to take us to our turning point in this one in a 9-8 Brewers win.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Shelby Miller for this Brewers bullpen. There was a lot of upset Brewers fans at the trade deadline. Why didn't they go out and get player X or player Y? Why didn't they go out and do this or that? The Brewers acquired Shelby Miller at the trade deadline. And at the time, he was on a handful of rehab assignments, coming back from an injury, had 10 saves prior to his injury, was still coming back and getting into the flow of things. And then obviously the Diamondbacks send him to Milwaukee. A big spot in this game after Jared Kaning gave up a boatload of hits, 5 to be exact, in 1 inning of work. And we'll talk about the bullpen and starting pitching, but a couple of runs, Kaning surrendered as well. Guys on second and third, and Shelby Miller coming in, 3 pitches, 1 out. He gets out of the 8th inning, and it gave the Brewers, at the time, it gave them a little bit of life. It felt like, man, they kind of escaped, that 8th inning and didn't have any more damage, where Arizona eventually tied the game. They didn't go into the bottom half of the 8th with the lead. And I thought that was the turning point for Shelby to come in. And then also at the top of the 9th inning for Shelby Miller to shut down the Arizona Diamondbacks, who had plated 5 combined runs in the innings before Shelby Miller took over. I thought that was a huge moment in this game, and it kind of sucked the life out of the Arizona offense and gave the Brewers an opportunity. In the bottom of the 9th, they load the bases. William Contreras kicking things off with a single to left field. There was a couple of walks in there, and then Isaac Collins with a sacrifice fly to walk it off, scoring Brandon Lockridge from third. The Brewers winning 9-8. And again, there's a lot of talk around this Brewers bullpen. There's a lot of discussion around why they seem to kind of be falling flat a little bit. Today's starter for the Brewers was Jacob Misiorowski. I will say this. It was a step in the right direction for Jacob Misiorowski. 5 innings pitched for the Miz, 10 strikeouts over 93 pitches thrown, 19 of them going for whiffs. I thought tonight he gave up one mistake tonight, one bad slider that Marino caught and drilled out to left field for that 3-run home run. But I do feel like it was a step in the right direction for Miz. A good bounce back performance. His control was much better this evening than we saw in Chicago a week ago. So I thought it was a step in the right direction for starter Jacob Misiorowski. And guys, we talked about it last night. Like every game that he pitches, Miz, that is who I'm talking about, is going to be a learning moment for him. And again, I had a couple of people on the live chat say it's the biggest start of the season for him. Talking about this last night going into tonight's game. I don't agree. I think every start for him is going to be the biggest start of the season because he's got to take something from each one of these starts. And that's exactly what he's done. He's been thrown into the fire. 5 innings pitched this evening. He allowed 4 hits. And again, just the 3 earned runs. And it's not great when you look at the box score aspect of it. It was one mistake from Jacob Misiorowski in this game that surrendered that 3-run home run. But other than that, he was absolutely fantastic. Now, here's the issue that I have with this Brewers pitching and their bullpen. And a lot of people, Tobias Myers, not great performance, giving up 3 earned runs. It's the first time he's given up earned runs out of the bullpen since he was moved to the bullpen. 1 2/3 innings pitched for Tobias. Jared Kaning, as we have mentioned, not a great performance tonight from Jared Kaning. 2 earned runs over just an inning of work and 5 hits. And then, as we had mentioned, Shelby Miller really kind of being the savior of the day for this Brewers team, certainly out of the bullpen. 1 1/3 innings, just 1 hit, and then, taking care of business. But it's a group effort. And I know a lot of people are looking at the bullpen and kind of angry. Again, you didn't have Nick Mears available. You didn't have Abner Uribe available, and you did not have Trevor McGill available because of their usage. And part of that is the starting pitching, guys. It works hand in hand. Okay. We haven't had a starter go more than 6 innings since Freddie Peralta did it. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since the Brewers have had a starter go 6 innings. And Freddie just hit 6 innings back on August 13th. The starting pitching for this team has got to be better to help out the bullpen on the back end. Yes, not a great performance from Jared Kaning, not a great performance from Tobias Myers. I'm not excusing their performances, but you have to go more than 4 2/3 innings. You have to go more than 4 1/3 innings. You have to go more than 5 innings. You have to go more than 5 1/3 innings. Those are the stat lines for the Brewers starters over the last handful of games. You have got to allow your starting pitching has got to do your bullpen a favor, especially, guys, when we're a 19 games and 18-day stretch here. Like, August is brutal. We knew this was going to be a brutal stretch for this Brewers team for many different reasons, right? You're on the road, you're back home, you're going back on the road, then you come back home. You're in Chicago for 5 games. Your starting pitching has to do your bullpen a favor. The starting pitching right now for this Milwaukee Brewers team has not done enough for the bullpen. You can get mad at Jared Kaning. You can get mad at Tobias Myers. You can get mad at Trevor McGill for blowing those 2 saves over the weekend. I understand that. They're not going to go in the clubhouse and say there's an excuse for their performance. But the reality is they're overused right now. They've been overused all season long. The starting pitching going forward has to go deeper into games. Even if it's 1 or 2 times a week where you kind of stretch a starter going, 6 and a third, go maybe touching the 7th inning. We thought we were going to see it with Brandon Woodruff earlier yesterday in yesterday's ball game. Didn't happen. And now you're paying the price on the back end because the starters are not going deep into games and you're using too much of your bullpen. Hand in hand. But the good news is for this Brewers team, they do get the 9-8 victory. They're second in a row after losing back-to-back games over the weekend. They've now responded by winning back-to-back games at American Family Field. Both of them so far against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Still got 2 more to go. Has it been pretty? Absolutely not. But the magic number now for the National League Central down to 25 with the win this evening, a 9-8 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. My player of the game and your thoughts, your reactions, and of course, with the Brewers win, your celebrations coming up after this. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. The grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of the golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or if you're just like me and need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without ever leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up on the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for your chance to win in a dream golf trip for 2 to any U.S. golf tournament in the United States. This does exclude the Masters tournament. Tee up that visit. Visit 5hewin.com for rules and entry. No purchase is necessary. Once again, that is 5hewin.com. Today's Locked On Brewers postcast also brought to you by FanDuel. And today, you got a couple of hours now. Today, August 26th, officially FanDuel Futures Day. So head over to the app. It's a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. You had 24 hours at the beginning of the day. You're down to about 2.5 in the central time zone, maybe an hour and a half. I should do some better math there. And FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot divisional winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, right now is your moment. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets right now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. Again, you're running out of time today. Futures Day is right now. Get it done. FanDuel, play your game. A wild roller coaster finish for the Brew Crew this evening at American Family Field. They were up 6-0 at one point. They were up 8-3 at one point. Then the 7th inning happened. Then the 8th inning happened. The Arizona Diamondbacks making a comeback, tying things up in the top half of the 8th at 8 apiece. But the Brewers loading the bases in the bottom half of the 9th inning, and they walk it off with an Isaac Collins sacrifice fly. 12 hits for the Brewers on offense this evening. Another good performance for with runners in scoring position. They were good again last night. But again, we had a good performance, I thought, from Bryce Terrain this evening. He had a home run. We had mentioned 9 home runs in the month of August for Brycey, the most in the National League. So he's on par right now to be probably your National League Player of the Month. Christian Yelich with 2 hits. Sal Frelick offensively with 2 hits. William Contreras, 3 for 5 this evening at American Family Field. He would eventually get the thing going in the 9th inning for the Brewers, but none of those guys this evening are getting tonight's Locked On Brewers postcast's player of the game in a 9-8 win.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Brewers simply do not win tonight without Shelby Miller coming out of the bullpen. We kind of mentioned the importance when he came into the 8th inning, guys on 2nd and 3rd, had to get a big out, took him 3 pitches, gets the Brewers out of the jam in the 8th inning, allows them to get into the 9th inning at a tie ball game. And then Shelby Miller once again shutting things down in the top half of the 9th and allowing the Brewers to get to the bottom half of the 9th inning. And then the Brewers, as we had mentioned, walking it off for the 9-8 win. It was no Nick Mears out of the bullpen. You had no Abner Uribe available out of the bullpen. You had no Trevor McGill available. Tobias Myers was already pitched. Jared Koenig already pitched. Your only other arm in the bullpen was Easton McGee. I'm not feeling too confident with Easton McGee. No offense to Easton coming in through that 8th inning or even that 9th inning. I do not think that this Brewers team wins tonight's ball game without what Shelby Miller did out of the bullpen, pitching 1 1/3 innings, allowing just 1 hit, and getting the Brewers on giving them a chance to be able to walk things off. And that's exactly what he did this evening. He gets the honors tonight in a 9-8 win for our Brew Crew. Your thoughts, your reactions, and of course, your celebrations. I'm sure some of you probably have some concerns and opinions. We begin with Everydayer Outdoorsman Show. We knew this was going to be tough and we need to do some work. DFA Siegler and bring up a different third baseman. I don't think you need to bring up a third baseman. I would simply just continue to play Caleb Durbin. But again, that's just me. I'm not the manager. I don't get paid for those things. I get paid to talk to you guys about Brewers wins and losses. I would simply play Caleb Durbin. I thought it was interesting today, once again, leaving him off. Obviously they're playing the righty-lefty matchup, but I don't know. I think Caleb Durbin at this point for this team has earned, the opportunity to see at-bats. James over on YouTube, the starting pitching has to go deeper into games. Some of it has to be on Murphy micromanaging the lineups. I think a lot of it too is you're trying to limit, right? Jacob Misiorowski. You're trying to be cautious of Brandon Woodruff because of, he had a long outing. They had a short outing in his last start. He had a long outing before that on an extra day of rest coming into Monday, but he only goes 4 2/3 last night. And again, it's just you got to rely on your starters to go a little bit deeper into these ball games because it's going to eventually add up. And guess what? That's where we're at right now. When you're using these guys continuously, it's going to eventually add up. And all of them are seeing extended, outings, extended opportunities. And yeah, you're gonna probably win more games than you're not. But at some point, especially during a 19-game over 18-day stretch, it's going to catch up with you. Your Cheetah over on YouTube. Bullpen is spent. Miller is simply more fresh. And that's, I thought that trade acquisition at the trade deadline was a little bit more impactful than a lot of people thought it was going to be because a lot of people were upset that Miller at the point, wasn't healthy. But again, you knew what you had ahead of you, right? The Brewers, Matt Arnold, Pat Murphy, these guys knew that August was going to be, a tough stretch for this team. Certainly when it came to, the bullpen and starting pitching. So it was a kind of an underrated move, one that I got on this very program and said, I liked it and we'll see, how he does and how he responds out of the rehab. And again, gets the odds for the player of the game this evening because I don't think the Brewers win tonight without the work that Shelby Miller did. Everydayer Woodworking Outdoorsman. The D-backs always find a way to make it tough on the Brewers. 17 wins out of 29 games, and they have a 100-win season. My guy, Woodworking Outdoorsman, counting down for that 100th win. I certainly think the Brewers will get there to 100 wins. As you point out, they need 17 out of their next 29. So I think they'll be able to find a way to get that done. Certainly have a couple of more winnable games still here at American Family Field before they hit the road. But again, I know they're not playing up to standards. 64 and 69 on the season are the Arizona Diamondbacks, but that's a really good lineup, man. It's a really good offensive lineup that Arizona trots out there. It's tough for starting pitching. It's tough for opposing bullpen. So it's a good team. I know they're not playing up to standards at the moment, and they're not technically a playoff team as it sits right now, but I still think they're a really, really good team. Everydayer D-Dubs, despite what their record is, and he's kind of piggybacking off the point here, Arizona has one of the best offenses in Major League Baseball. Love the Brewers' resilience the last 2 nights. That's an excellent point because we had talked about it. When you drop 2 games to a very beatable team in the San Francisco Giants, certainly it was an emotional weekend for the Brewers, honoring the legacy and the life of the late, great Bobby Uecker. You were curious to see how this team was going to respond. Like, were they going to get caught in a little bit of a rut and drop some games that maybe at home that they shouldn't? But that simply wasn't the case. And that's exactly what this team has done these first 2 games. Have they been pretty? Absolutely not. Does it matter when it comes to the end of September going into October, what those games look like? Absolutely not. Get the win. You move on. you lived it, to see another day going forward. Maybe tomorrow you get your, some of your bullpen back. And maybe going forward, this team can kind of get a starter going late into this game and kind of do the Brewers a solid. I thought that was going to be the case tonight. Jacob Misiorowski was dealing. The Brewers are up 6-0. I thought for sure, things were looking to be, going in the right direction. You got Quinn Priester on the mound tomorrow, so maybe the Priest can help the Brewers, eat up some innings against this Arizona Diamondbacks team. But again, it's a good team. So you got to give credit where credit's due. Certainly offensively, they're a good team, and the Brewers are definitely, we're definitely seeing that as well. Charles over on YouTube, bullpen sketchy aside from Miller, defense sketchy, but the offense scored 9 runs and got the win. Yeah, an error out there by Sal Frelick today. He bobbled the ball. It gave Corbin Carroll a double when he should have kept him at first. Isaac Collins dropping the ball in left field, scoring a run and putting guys in scoring position. So it wasn't a clean game for this team, but again, it wasn't good. It wasn't clean. It wasn't perfect. And you got the win. There's a lot of things we can complain about. Certainly that, those are valuable, valid reasons to be upset and to complain and to be concerned about. But at the end of the day, you didn't play a clean game. You didn't play your best game. You allowed them to come back not once, but twice. But you were able to still get the victory and stay ahead of the Cubs in the National League Central. Everydayer Harley over on YouTube. Wild game. Miller did great against his old team. I think Murphy should have gone to him sooner. Go Brewers. My 9-year-old and I were, my 9-year-old was actually sitting down here screaming, yelling, take him out. And I kind of agree. I thought there was a moment where Pat Murphy he's such a loyal manager, such a player's manager. That's why this team loves him. That's why they're successful under him, is he just believes in them and they don't want to let him down. And I think that was one of those moments. And certainly I think, and maybe Murphy's talking about this during his press conference. We're not obviously listening to it because we're doing the show live right after the last out is made. But I think he probably ideally wanted Caney to get through that 8th. That obviously did not happen. He got 2 outs in that 8th. And I think he wanted to leave Shelby in just for the top of the 9th, and it just didn't work out. He had to go to him a little bit early. But unfortunately, those are the little things that happen, during the course of a season and during the course of a game. But now it's, becoming a bigger issue because, the Brewers bullpen hasn't been up to the standards that we saw earlier in the year. Everydayer Nick over on YouTube. Walk off again. Boy, Cardiac Kids. Isaac Collins, Rookie of the Year. Just keep stacking wins. Go Crew. Keep turning up the heat. Jason over on YouTube. Why does Murphy keep playing Siegler in front of Durbin? The guy is terrible. That's it. And that's all on that guy. Yeah, I mean, again, I kind of touched point on it a little bit ago. I would have preferred Caleb Durbin just to kind of be your everyday starter. And I know they look at the splits and the lefty versus righty. I just think Caleb Durbin's proven it over. And again, a lot of people will say, well, it's not great. His OPS is, in the 600s. His batting average is in the 230s against right-handed pitching. I understand that, but I think Caleb Durbin at this point in the season has earned the opportunity to take those at-bats day in and day out, certainly offensively and defensively as well. James over on YouTube. Who do you have as the future second baseman? I'm aware that Terrain is a natural shortstop, but Ortiz is looking too good to move him. I think right now it's going to be status quo, right? I think Terrain is a platinum glove winner at second base. I think Joey Ortiz has definitely exceeded first half expectations, have kind of, gotten a little bit better going into the second half of the season. Defensively, Joey Ortiz is fantastic. But I think, obviously Cooper Pratt is a name that's going to be thrown around. Jesus Mate is eventually good. The Luis Pena of the world, like those guys are eventually going to make their way up to the major league. So when you say future, I think for this year and certainly next year, it's going to be what you see right now. We'll see what the Brewers obviously do in the offseason if that changes things, but I wouldn't expect it to based on how we have seen, when Willy Adames left and the Brewers put a lot of faith and a lot of stock into Joey Ortiz. And look, the second half of Joey O has been fantastic. I think the Brewers are very pleased, and it looks like it's going to be a short IL stint for Joey, and hopefully he can get back into the swing of things coming up here at the beginning of September. The Brewers getting the 9-8 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks, 50 now on the season are our Brew Crew. That'll do it for tonight's show. Again, my thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you guys for always making Locked On Brewers part of your day. Remember, wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get this very one as well. We are free and available. Amazon, Google, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get audio podcasts, you can get this very program. And everything is over on YouTube. So if you're curious and you want to maybe watch the videos or maybe just turn it on and listen, we are over on YouTube. Everything, once again, free and available. Go to the search bar, type in Locked On Brewers. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get notified when we go live, and hit that thumbs up on the videos. A quick show note, no Locked On Brewers postcast tomorrow. You can catch me on the Locked On Packers channel for the Packers Squad Show with my guys, Peter Bukowski and Coach Jeff Jagosinski. We'll be breaking down the Packers. We'll pick things back up later on in the week, but no Brewers postcast tomorrow. My apologies ahead of time. I do apologize. We'll pick things back up, though, as the season rolls on for the Brewers. A good one tonight. Hopefully they can start stacking some more wins and go for 3 in a row tomorrow evening. My name is Brandon Snide. Once again, you can follow me on Twitter, formerly Twitter, on X, at Brandon_Snide. And as always, win, lose, or draw, boy, it feels good to be talking about back-to-back wins once again for our Brewers. It is always go Brewers. Have a good one, everyone. See ya.